Hi everyone, Scribbler here. Please forgive the very, very fucked up voice. I am just getting over a lurgy. I, in fact, said everything that's coming up in this video in a community post made 3 or 4 weeks ago. 3 weeks at time of recording. But apparently people don't read those. I did not believe Mag when she said that, but you know, I have had a lot of questions in the comments of videos asking about the things I literally said in the community post. So I am going to knowingly and acknowledgingly copy Magpie Pony and read out the community post here so that people get an update for the channel. Okay, I am planning to release a teaser video tomorrow for some of this, but I thought I would also update you all here on some projects I get a lot of questions about, as well as a single image from each of the upcoming videos mentioned herein. So first off, the thing I get the most questions about, Friendship is Tragic 2. We ran into some issues that can be basically summed up as people are people and people have lives. Originally, the schedule for FiT2 was to release an episode a month from last October to this one. But, obviously, that has not happened. What I can say is that the current plan is to release episodes 7, 8 and 9 in October this year as part of Month of Macabre 2023. I did warn you that my voice is lucky. Another thing I get asked about is how many episodes FiT2 will be in total. I can answer that now, as all the scripts are finished, edited, and with the voice artist team to be recorded, and soon to be with the art team for, well, art. Wow. In total, FiT2 will be 24 episodes long. It is the longest, most involved project I've ever attempted. But I am confident that with the support of my amazing team of cast and crew, that we will see this through to completion. That may involve some casting call videos in the future for voices and artists, but that is definitely a future thing at this stage. Although, you know, if you are interested, please express that in the comments. It's always good for me to get a temperature check on how people feel about that kind of thing. We do have some really epic things planned for the remaining episodes, so we hope you stick with us. I was not kidding when I said it gets big and epic. The next thing I get the most questions about is History Repeats. This is an audio drama adaptation of a fanfic, so the original was already completed by the author, Saddle Soap Opera, long ago. That said, I've gotten the okay from Saddle Soap Opera to include a brand new epilogue to the audio drama version that I have written. So in total, there will be 7 episodes and an epilogue, totaling 8 videos. Episode 4 is nearly complete and scheduled to come out in October as the finale to the Month of Macabre, as it definitely delves into some pretty dark places and themes compared with the other episodes in the series. That also means that with the release of that episode, History Repeats will be officially halfway through. And now I am gonna talk about something quite unpleasant. I'm not gonna talk about it in a lot of detail. It has been talked about far more comprehensively by other people in other places. So, one of the things that has slowed us down on this episode, it has been over a year since the last one, and I don't do it on purpose. I try not to have them be a year apart, but that just seems to be the way that things are working out. The History Repeat episodes are so long and so complicated that alongside just real life stuff and all my other projects, to make sure that I'm not just half-assing it, they're about a year apart. It has been more than a year since episode 3, and one of the major things for that slowed us down is an issue with casting. Now, I am going to say this assuming that people either know or can go back and look at who the cast members are in previous episodes. Recently, some things have come out about a member of the primary cast that means I am no longer comfortable having her play Rainbow Dash. This has meant recasting and re-recording future episodes. no small feat, as Rainbow Dash plays a very large role in this audio drama. The issue is that, given all the editing that was already done when the news broke, it's not possible to remove the original VA from episode 4 at this late stage without literally redoing large chunks of the episode from the ground up, which I simply do not have the time to do. I would have to undo everything and start again. I just don't have capacity for that alongside my IRL commitments. So, while episode 4 will use the original vocals of this VA, going forward from episode 5 onwards, Rainbow Dash will be played by the Lost narrator. I am incredibly grateful to Lost for agreeing to play Rainbow Dash. She is fucking awesome. Everybody go and ladle praise on her channel, please. Thank you. Next up, we have The Darkest Dawn. This one is a work in progress. There will only be 6 episodes of The Darkest Dawn in total. At the moment, we're working on episode 4, and I'm busy writing the scripts for episodes 5 and 6. This audio drama is an oddball one, as it took a while to get things into order and figure out where we wanted the story to go. Reasons being explained in the info card at the start of episode 1, but in short, this is an audio drama that I inherited from somebody else, which means a lot of the stuff was already set in stone when I started. However, some plot points were kind of dangling and we didn't know where they were going to go. So I had to go back to the drawing board, look at what we had, look what we didn't have, and replot some things and change where the story was going to go, because I simply didn't know where else it was going to go. And to make sure that things didn't turn out completely shit, I did not want to be writing scripts when I didn't know the end point I was going towards. That would have been a complete disservice and a bit of an insult to the cast and crew who had stuck with the project after I took it on. Hence why the scripts aren't all or completely pre-written before we begin production the way I usually prefer. I couldn't, because I didn't start the production. Nonetheless, the plot is all set, the wheels are in motion, and we are going to see that one to conclusion for the 6 episodes. You can't see me right now, but I am doing the thing that you put on social media where you clap in time with the words you are saying. Don't know how the fuck I'm going to animate that with my pony Sona. That is a problem for you, future Scribbler. Thanks, past Scribbler. I love you so much. Now we get into the less pleasant and positive aspects of this. No place like home. You know how I said before that I prefer to have most or all scripts pre-written before I start a project? Well, No Place Like Home is the reason I know that about myself and the way that I work. I started No Place Like Home in 2014, when my life, and the world were a very different place. 9 years is a long time. Most of the cast have left the fandom now, and I had not written enough scripts to have pre-recorded vocals of theirs to work with, like in History Repeats, which means extensive recasting going forward. For a long while, I've refused to say that No Place Like Home is done because it was my baby. I have whole notebooks filled with world-building notes, sketches, and literal flowcharts of plot points and family trees of characters. However, this is me biting the bullet and saying that No Place Like Home is officially on long-time hiatus and won't be revisited until at least The Darkest Dawn and History Repeats are completely done. I simply cannot run so many big projects at once, especially when one of them, FiT2, is 24 episodes long and quite involved. And to be honest, No Place Like Home may as well have been started by a whole and completely different person, given how much I have changed since then. I cannot overstate how much I am not the person I was when I started writing that. And I don't mean that there's problematic stuff in the script. I mean that my writing style has matured and is much better now. It's not perfect. I would argue that there are whole chunks of directors and authors of audio dramas in this fandom and beyond that are far better than I am. But I am far better now than I was back then. And quite frankly, I made that project too big and too sweeping for what I had the skill to turn it into. I didn't know what I was doing, and I think I bit off more than I could chew. There is one more script that was finished back in, I think, 2015. Editing Scribbler from the future here. That bitch who's talking right now does not actually know what she's talking about. I took a look at my files. Apparently I have like 4 more scripts for No Place Like Home. I'd written all the way up to episode 7, and I had no idea. So, she's gonna refer to the fact there's only 1 script. There's not. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that, but the rest of what she says still stands. This gives you an idea of how long this has been a thing. So once The Darkest Dawn and History Repeats are finished, I will try to at least ensure that the hard work that people put into that script, because it was already being worked on, I don't want their hard work to be wasted. But I hope everyone understands the situation on this one going forward. I cannot say for certain that it will be finished. It will have at least 1 more episode, and we'll see what reception is to that episode when it finally comes out for whether or not I continue it. I mean, I'd like to. I'm not going to say it definitely won't be finished. I'd like to finish that one. It was important to me, but I am trying to be realistic here. Way more realistic than 2014 Scribbler was. And then we come to something that actually makes my heart hurt quite a bit. The heroic tale of Heroically Heroic Heroes. Heroic Tale was my very first audio drama in this fandom that I started in 2013. It was officially cancelled by me years ago, but I do still get questions about it. And since I'm talking about all my audio dramas past and present, I'll talk about it again here. As I said, Heroic Tale was my very first ever audio drama in 2013. It is how I made my very first friends in this fandom, and I owe it a lot. I actually know exactly how it was supposed to go, and I had scripts written and everything. However, in early 2014, the lead voice actor of Bucket Mopsworthy, Pounce, had an unexpected stroke despite only being in his mid-20s. We agreed to halt the production while he recovered. Unfortunately, medical complications and other things going on in real life meant that Pounce never returned to voice acting. He was, during the short time that I knew him, my best friend. So I held out hope that if I waited, he would come back when he was ready. It was probably stupid of me, but part of me thought that if I waited, that would give him something to work towards. That was quite arrogant of me, which I realise in retrospect. However, he never did come back to voice acting, and eventually he never did come back to Pony either. He broke ties, quite dramatically, with all of us after he went into recovery. And as time passed, I took on other projects, and Heroic Tale remained unfinished. And then I got a power surge in my house, and it fried my hard drive, and I did not have the scripts anymore either. So I declared it cancelled in 2016, when I thought I'd moved to Australia. A move that did not take due to my then partner's infidelity. But as I said, I have gotten a lot of questions about it since then. Maybe someday I'll do a podcast or something to explain how the story would have gone, if people are interested in that. But Heroic Tale will not be returning as a full audio drama. It can't. And I hope you all understand why that is. And some other FAQs that I get. Will you read my fanfic? I am afraid that with all my other projects and life commitments, I don't take requests. I do take commissions through my Patreon. You may have seen some of them popping up recently on the channel. They're always labelled. I can negotiate one-off commissions for readings. I have done a couple of those. I tend to ask for donations to charities as opposed to fees. But requests just not possible, I'm sorry. Doesn't matter how or where you request them. The answer's no. Will you voice in my project is one I get a lot. DM or at me on Twitter. That's genuinely the best way to get hold of me, because I am basic AF and there's basically only one social media I have. As long as it's not a huge time crunch or outright clop, I'm pretty okay about voicing in things for others, though I do reserve the right to say no, and I would appreciate it if people wouldn't get offended if I do say no. Do you have a Discord server? I do, but only for patrons. And to be honest, I'm not very active in it, due to the fact that, have you seen how many projects I'm doing? That tends to be what I'm doing on my off time, when I'm not at my real job. I think that covers everything. If you've made it this far, thank you very much for listening. If you have other questions that I haven't answered here, leave them as a comment below and I'll either answer directly or I'll make a post online on my community post if enough people are asking the same thing. Thank you again and be lovely to each other. Watch out for the teaser trailer tomorrow. Bye! Oh my god, my voice, what is going on?